在天齐 Hi everyone, welcome to the class.
Hi, Professor Chu. Hi, boys and girls. I'm very happy to communicate with you. Can you tell us more about Ding wares today?
Production sites of Ding kings were found in present-day Quyang County, Hebei Province. Quyang County back in the Song Dynasty was within the Dingzhou region, hence the name Ding kings. The history of Ding kings can be traced back based on unearthed specimens. There were white porcelains being made here as early as the Tang Dynasty. By the Five Dynasties period, the porcelain business here was already booming. After the Northern Song Dynasty, Ding wares were famous for its off-white glazes and exquisite engravings, etchings, and imprinted patterns on porcelain. Porcelain kings from other areas all strove to imitate Ding porcelain, which became the standard of white porcelain in China.
In addition to white porcelain, what porcelain were produced in the Ding Ting of the Song Dynasty?
Aside from white porcelain, the Ding wares also produced black, crimson, and green glazed porcelain. Its technology and varieties in glaze colors were astonishing.
What are the decoration methods of Ding King?
Early Ding porcelain was single-colored with little or no decoration. By late Northern Song Dynasty, however, there would be exquisite patterns on porcelain wares, which were engraved, etched, or imprinted. The patterns were precisely laid out, with a clear sense of sections and layers. Lines were clear and organized into loose and dense areas. Popular motifs included water waves, swimming fish, land animals, birds, flowers, and playful children, peonies, lotuses, and pomegranates, and so on, were the most common floral motifs.
What were the main decorative methods of porcelain in the early Song Dynasty?
Engraved floral decor was the principal way of ornamentation in early Song porcelain. Once the technique caught on, it was combined with comb-etched images as another form of ornamentation. For example, at the center part of a flare lip dish, the image of a flower was first carved. Then, with a fine-toothed comb, the area within the outlines of the leaves were comb-etched, leaving parallel lines that represent wings of the leaves. The most popular motifs done in this technique were the lotus, peony, and so on.
What tools are mainly used for engraving?
Engravings usually relied on bamboo chips and knives, while comb etchings relied on a tool similar in shape to a comb to leave ordinary patterns on the body. The combined result was commonly referred to as bamboo outlines with brushed patterns, with lines that were tidy and natural. Imprinted patterns on Ding porcelain first appeared in mid-Northern Song Dynasty and matured late in the dynasty. The pattern decor was often placed on the inside of plates and bowls. To make imprinted patterns, it would require a mold with engraved patterns, which is pressed onto the not yet dried surface of the clay body. Most often, the imprinted image would be a positive image and would have added thickness and can create a very special effect or depth when light strikes the object. The motifs and designs were normally borrowed from silk, tapestry, or gold and silverware produced in the Dingzhou area. Therefore, imprinted motifs on Ding porcelain have appeared to be mature in style right from the start, with very high artistic merits. It had quite an effect on imprinted designs of later generations. The Song Dynasty Ding kings produced vessels such as bowls, dishes, jars, cups, cases, vases, and pots, all for daily use. Vessels such as bowls with their large mouths and thinly coursed bodies needed to be overturned when fired in order to avoid deformation. Therefore, at the mouth, there was the absence of glaze which felt quite astringent. High-class items often have copper, gold, or silver rims at the mouths. Rare items were the round-bottomed jars and baby-shaped pillars with forms that were realistic and cuddly. From today's surviving examples of Ding King's quality works, people have found especially valuable pieces which contained inscriptions, imprinted writing or handwritings. Among the 5 great kings of the Song dynasty, only the Ding kings produced white porcelain, and it was quite famous during its time. It was for a time offered as tribute to the imperial families, but was then discontinued for an unclear cause. The official given reason was that Ding porcelain had unglazed parts. This was because Ding porcelain was produced through upside-down firing and had no glaze at its mouth. However, Ding porcelain often had extensive gold, silver, and copper edged around the unglazed rim. Therefore, some people believe that the real reason for discontinuing imperial use of Ding porcelain was not because of the unglazed areas. Instead, it was attributed to the aesthetic preferences of its time. The white of the dingware was turbid, opaque, and bland. In order to counter such a drawback, most dingwares were decorated with imprinted on engraved patterns. When compared to porcelain of the Ge, Guan, Ru, and Jun wares, dingware contained more synthetic features, which fell short of achieving the ideas of natural and subtle beauty in the Song dynasty. For this reason, dingware did not quite capture the interest of the literati class, and may have been considered objects of somewhat vulgar taste and style.
Thank you, Professor Chiu, for introducing us to the knowledge of Ding King today.
That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.